Hola a todos, bienvenidos a The First Flare. Es una serie que creé para mi canal You Look Okay to Me. Do you not remember when I used to do Spanish videos? The real OGs remember when I used to do videos in English and in Spanish, which, because they're longer now, I don't have the time to do anymore. Hello everyone, if you're new here, welcome, and if you're not new here, welcome back to another episode of The First Flare. It's a series where I ask people with chronic illnesses about their first flare. Obviously. Today we have an episode from someone who's very special. Her name is Renée, or Ray does it as she goes by on Instagram. Renée is currently living with endometriosis and polycystic ovarian syndrome, but she's also a law student, and she also is a mental health and chronic illness disability advocate. She does so many things, and her story is very, very interesting. It's a story that a lot of people can resonate with. For people who menstruate, having to go through the experience of being told that you don't have anything wrong with you and it's just a bad period. If you've heard that before, this story will resonate with you. This is Renée.
My name's Renée and I have been diagnosed with endometriosis and polycystic ovarian syndrome. I am a law student going into my third year. I also have an online business now and I am a chronic health, mental health blogger.
As with many of us who sometimes have complications when it comes to menstruation, it can start at various ages. My first period started when I was 12, and even back then, I knew there was something that wasn't quite right. So as with many people, what were the signs that something wasn't quite right?
Well, I always had really bad periods. My pain was ridiculous. I would always have a whole water bottle with me. Sometimes I'd have days off school. Also, it was really heavy. Like, I used to bleed everywhere all the time. Like, no matter if I had a tampon and a pad on, I would still bleed through. Without doubt, I had to change my sheets and I've thrown away more knickers than I can count. I honestly thought it was normal. I didn't think there was anything wrong with that. I thought most girls go through it, and I guess at that age you don't really talk to people about your periods. You kind of just get on with it. So I just kind of thought everyone else was going through the same thing and I just got on with it, yeah. But it was a sign that I had endometriosis and that I had polycystic ovarian syndrome. But even when I had gone to doctors about it, they kind of just said it's normal for me to have bad periods at a young age. So, and I'd grow out of it, was what they said next. So, yeah.
And the money question, the big one, what was that first flare like?
When I was 16, I ended up in hospital. And that is because, well, it's hard to say if it was the first flare or not, because the decision at the end was that it was an ovarian cyst that had burst. Now looking back to it, I don't know whether it was an ovarian cyst that had burst or if it was a first flare. It was just really bad. I started spotting. The pain was ridiculous. I couldn't get into the bath. My mum had to shower me. Like, it was unreal. And at that time, like still now, I don't like taking medication. And I can't swallow tablets. So because of that, I just basically decided to refuse all type of medication or whatever. So what was going on is that I refused to take the medication, but I was in so much pain. And the doctors kind of said, well, if you won't take the medication, you can't be in that much pain, was their kind of answer to me. Yeah. So even though I told them like, wow, I can't swallow tablets. And my mum had told them like, she can't swallow tablets. It's on my file. She can't swallow tablets. And they still were like, well, it can't be that bad. My mum, my grandma, my uncle had to take me, to A&E. So it was A&E. The doctor that saw me said, oh, she's just having an irregular period, so she needs to go home, take some paracetamol, she'll be fine. A couple of days later, I ended up back in A&E. The ambulance still didn't come. And this time, mum and my grandma took me and they admitted me that night. I was there for like 3 or 4 nights. And that's when they were like, oh, okay, yeah, I think you might have an ovarian cyst or something like that. They were meant to do a scan, a transvaginal scan, which they didn't do. Instead, like after the 3-4 days, they said, okay, you can go home now, because my pain levels had gone down a bit. It was just really bad. But then it naturally calmed down for a while. After that, it just naturally calmed down. I just thought, okay, this might be the end of it, but obviously it wasn't. All the scans kept saying was, you have polycystic ovarian syndrome. So I kept going back until one day I broke down doctors and I was like, look, like I can't do this no more. Like, I'm in pain. I'm at college. Like, I'm starting uni soon. Like, I need help. Like, someone needs to help me. my doctor was like, okay, cool, like I'm gonna refer you to a hospital, a private one instead, through NHS. So I was like really happy with that. They done a scan, and when the scan came back, they were like, oh, your ovary is stuck and we can see all the lesions and you have endometriosis. As he told me, I broke down into tears. It was like, I'm so happy that I'm not mad, but at the same time, what the hell is that kind of thing? Following on from this, they basically said you can either have surgery, or what did they say? Or you can be on a pill. I didn't want to be on a pill because I can't swallow tablets. Not that anyone listens to me about that, but yeah. And I didn't really want to have the surgery at the time. A couple of weeks later, I then decided that I wanted to have the surgery, and I was told I was too young to have the surgery, so I wasn't allowed it. So I kept fighting for it until they basically said no, and I just said, you know what, okay, fine, forget it. So then during the time, like between 19 to 20, like that year, that is when things started to progress. Like it started to get worse. Last September, when I decided to go back to uni, I started like eating well and yoga and all this stuff like that, which brought my periods back because they were really irregular before. It ended up bringing my periods back, and it also brought the endometriosis like 10 times worse because it's linked to your periods. So what happened is that from September when I started, the flare continued. Like from September to December, it was like non-stop. In January, I let my gynae know, and he was like, hey, we're just going to book you in for an emergency surgery then. Done the emergency surgery in February. He came out of the surgery saying, I don't really think it's endometriosis. I burnt out scar tissue, which he thinks is from previous infection. And I think you just have bad periods. Was his answer. That was his answer. So I was like, huh? So he called me back, like, how long was it after? Maybe a month after the surgery. And he was like, okay, so like, you good now? Like, is everything well? And I was like, no, I'm not good now. I'm still in pain. Like, I'm still in pain. You've done nothing, you know? And he was like, yeah, I just think you have bad periods. So now I'm basically like back at the beginning where I need to go and see an endometriosis specialist who does excision surgery, because what I found is that a lot of gynaes and even endo specialists that only do ablation surgery can't actually find all of the endo. They don't know how to, they don't know what it looks like, which I knew, but I didn't know to the extent that I do know now. So basically people who aren't trained are doing surgeries on people, giving people false diagnosis and all this kind of stuff. Because so many women have said, like, they've had their first lap and said, oh, you don't have endometriosis, had their second lap, you don't have endometriosis, their third lap. And then it's like, oh yeah, we found it now. Like, that doesn't make no sense.
And the last question, which is obviously my favourite one, as you all know, if you knew what you knew now, what would you tell yourself back then, going through those symptoms and that flare-up?
It's not normal. First of all, it's just really, really not normal. Don't listen to your doctors as much. Like, don't take what they say as gospel. Yes, listen to them, but don't take it as gospel. Don't rule it off as your only answer, because a lot of times we put so much trust into a doctor. And I have to remind myself, I'm at uni studying law, and at some point I will be a lawyer, but I'm also still a human, which means that I can make mistakes. When they're diagnosing people and they're doing stuff, I feel like they need to be more, I don't know, compassionate in a sense of saying, I don't know, when they don't know, rather than ruling it off completely. But I have to remind myself that they are also just human, just like me and you. So I would just tell my younger self, like, it's okay, speak up as well. Always speak up, because I feel like I'm still a person who sometimes doesn't speak up. Like, even when I spoke to my doctor earlier, there's some other things I should have said, which I didn't say, and then I kicked myself later for not saying it. But you get like this kind of anxiety because the doctors overbear you when you speak. Like, if you say, I have nausea, before you've even said the next 7 things you want to say, they're already telling you, could you be pregnant? Like, can you wait? Do you know what I mean? Like, can you just wait? So I just kind of tell myself, have more confidence and just speak your mind, and it's okay. Yeah.
Thanks everyone so much for watching that video. I really hope you enjoyed it. A massive thank you to Renee for sharing her story so openly, and I really hope that the second time round is a lot better than the first time round when it comes to trying to deal with the endometriosis. Be sure to follow Renee on her socials and her YouTube channel. She does amazing stuff for raising awareness for endometriosis, so it's important to check her out. If you like this video, make sure you like the video or hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe and follow You Look Okay to Me on all the social platforms. That's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, IGTV. Share the video around. This could help someone who is going through the same thing, so share it as much as you can, and make sure you turn on the notification bell so you can be made aware of whenever I upload a video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.